My name is Fragile.
Yeah, I've heard of you. Well, they can slap a sticker on you, but you're still gonna break in transit.
Huh.
So, what's it gonna be?
I'll take the damage.
That was a good line.
I don't break that easy.
Well, good luck with that.
I'll take the damage. I don't break that easy. I'll take the damage and the goods. I don't break that easy. Because I'm fragile. But I'm not that fragile.
Oh, man. I'm fragile, but I'm not that fragile. I can't wait for the scene where Heartman fights some dude, wins, the dude begs for mercy, and Heartman says, "My name may be Heartman, but I don't have that big a heart, man." Oh no. Wow, way to post spoilers with a bit donation, $60.99. Wow.
I'm fragile. But I'm not that fragile. I'm fragile.
No.
But
Not that fragile.
Oh my god. Okay, let's try this a couple more times and then we'll move on. Alright, this seems really inconsistently fragile. But not that fragile. Tap on the fuel preheater gauge. Fuck the car. As you tap on the gauge, the indicator pin jerks as if startled. It's in the large orange sector, indicating the engine is warm. Next to the gauge is a red switch labeled heat. Now, that's enough fun with the foldable headlights. I know they're mesmerizing. They're also fragile, but not that fragile. I'm not going to turn it on for you again. I wonder how many, like 2-3 years before we can just have a meme for every single thing that's ever said in anything? Just non-stop memes all the way. Hello, Daddy Pon Jamison. How are your ha and ka? Well, they're fragile, but they're not that fragile. The cube-like crisscross of filaments feels oddly fragile, but not that fragile, in your hand. Delicate and fragile, but not that fragile. They feel alien to the world around you. Knock on the boot. A small bell-like sound fills the air, like tapping on the side of a porcelain cup. Sounds fragile, but not that fragile. It's anything but. Hello, is anyone there? Yes, hello, this is Tricentennial Electrics. This is a woman's voice, crackling and fragile, but not that fragile through the static. Okay, first one shot right now gets to go. First one shot. It was fragile, but not that fragile. I hate you so much, Fragile. I hate you so much. Alright. In your hand, you hold Dick Mullen and the Mistaken Identity. The brittle paperback feels fragile to the touch, but not that fragile. Step on the floorboards. They screech under your feet ominously. It's hard to say whether the dead man's weight was what caused the boardwalk to break it. It definitely looks fragile, but not that fragile. As I was saying, the device itself was very elegant, fragile even, but not that fragile. One could write through... The sun reflected in the waves and the skyscrapers rising across the bay is mesmerizing. Your mind clears for a moment as your senses take it all in. Not just the glass skyscrapers, fragile, but not that fragile, looking in the shimmering light. River Esperance flowing into the bay. Hey, I got some glands.
You found it. A sacred land. I knew you would. Careful now. It's a fragile vessel.
But not that fragile.
Divine.
Hello, astronaut. If it isn't my favorite troublemaker, what's with the radio? We wanted to play hide and seek, but Moraine won't let us borrow their signal scope because it's really delicate and not supposed to be thrown around like that. It's fragile. What you see here are parts of the Nomai skeleton. We can tell from their skulls that they possess antlers and, quite unusually, only 3 eyes. The Nomai body was most likely adapted for living exclusively on land. The differences in the Nomai's anatomy, such as their shockingly fragile bone structure, but not that fragile. Thank you, Talisman, for gifting 5 subs out to Fragile X, but not that Fragile X. The fuck is this? Was it just full of blood? This straw is pretty fragile, but not that fragile. Oh man, the battery must have died. I probably used it all when I took that call from my buddy. The battery's dead? Yeah, the thing about the future is that it really sucks the life out of today's batteries. Does it? Well, how long does it take to recharge? A mere 8 hours. That long? You only had the one conversation earlier, and that's all it takes to run down to empty? That's the price you pay for being the vanguard of the times. It's always been that way. Technology's beauty is as fleeting and fragile, but not that fragile, as the cherry blossom. Well, if you ever need to use the phone in the future, I'll be here. I'm happy to let you use it anytime you want, assuming it has a charge, that is. Will do. But man, I gotta say, this new technology stuff sure is fragile. That's the way things always start, isn't it? But this is only the beginning. I bet one day phones will be so light and convenient, everyone will be carrying one. Maybe it'll even do more than let people talk, too. Wouldn't it be cool if your phone could take pictures? You kidding me? If they put a camera on that thing, it'd break your damn back to carry it, not to mention the film. But that's the price of oh, but not that fragile! Shit! Shit! Fucking called out by my own chat, and rightfully so. God damn it. And when the silver cord, the fragile but not that fragile thread that binds us to this world, is severed. And when the silver cord, the fragile but not that fragile thread that binds us to this world, is severed. Same joke, by the way, same joke. Now then, Mr. Godot, please proceed with your opening statement. Humans are fragile, but not that fragile. Fickle, but not that fickle beings.
Humans are such a fragile machine. They break down so quickly. All this effort to keep them going. Hey,
We're really not, though.
what happened to your clothes?
We're not that fragile.
Oh, it's nothing.
I'm gonna tear you apart, and nobody's gonna give a shit. Because you're nothing. You hear me? You're nothing!
Wait, why did they program them to feel pain?
Carl, no! Carl.
Humans. Fragile machines.
But not that fragile.
Carl, don't leave, okay? Please don't go. Don't leave.
Oh, but not that fragile. Alright. These Canaanites are curious and fragile, but not that fragile race. But not that fragile.
The reason I asked you up here is because I and the rest of the Hollywood kindred have been under surveillance lately by hunters. I didn't want you to say anything that might draw attention.
Are you sure that's the only reason? I appreciate it. Hunters, they're just kind, simple, fragile, but not that fragile kind.
Your targets are private banker Klaus Strandberg and Army General Reza Zidane, 2 of the conspirators in a sinister plot to overthrow Morocco's fragile government.
But not that fragile.
Strandberg.
Oh man, this got fragile, but not that fragile.
Janus's unpresuming home is protected by a host of bodyguards, and intel shows that the fragile former constant
But not that
rarely
fragile.
leaves the property.
Man, I hope no one comes up here and tries to look at what happened. Fragile, but not that fragile. Okay. I give it like maybe 4 or 5 more years of streaming, and there won't be a single sentence that we're going to be able to read without there being some sort of fucking meme-ass follow-up that goes, we can't even see the word fragile without saying, but not that fragile. You know, like, it's just, just everything. She just talks about tofu. She says, I'm like tofu. I had to ask her what that meant. The way she explained it, tofu looks weak and fragile, but not that fragile. But it's actually pretty resilient. It's taken some abuse from all the magazine photo shoots I've been in, so it's a little fragile, but not that fragile. As I predicted, you have shown me that your soul is strong. It's been wonderful. For the first time in ages, I became very excited. But remember, one soul is fragile, but not that fragile. Collapse as a word is officially ruined by this stream for me. Someone should start a compendium of ruined words because of the stream. Useless, fragile, collapse, sake, and sake. Alright, show me something nice, leg eater. The loathsome fragile strength, but not that fragile. What charms am I using? Quick slash, quick dash, long mark of pride, and fragile strength. But not that fragile. Yeah, sorry. Audrey, don't step on the bugs. What? They're just bugs. They might be tiny and fragile, but not that fragile, but they're special. What's this machine? Do you know, Sigma? I don't. It looks fragile, but not that fragile. I know life has been hard since Emily left us. Oh, she's dead for sure, but we're still a family and we intend to keep it that way. That includes making sure Chris is getting all the care he needs at this fragile age, but not that fragile. But not that fragile. Fragile, but not that fragile. Nice. As a result, all of the zones have been given a graphical overhaul, and they're doing all kinds of backpedaling to placate their fragile, but not that fragile user base. All right, we're good. All right, let's go. Fragile, but not that fragile. Wrench. Let me in. Let me in. Hell is this? Handle with care. Optical mirrors are fragile, but not that fragile. Well, they're not that fragile, for real.
Never fear, Gordon. She's de-beaked and completely harmless.
De-beaked?
The worst she might do is attempt to couple with your head, fruitlessly.
Why is she still bloody, though?
Get that thing away from me!
Here, my pet. Hop up. No, not up there. No, no. Careful, Lamar. Those are quite fragile.
Not that fragile.
Fie.
Why were they created if they are so fragile and ever-changing?
But not that fragile.
You know, my dear. This Middle Earth is fragile and changing too.
But not that fragile. What's heavy that was not too heavy? Like a chair? Something fragile but not too fragile. Exactly, Chatter. The officers presented me today with a rather unexpected and strange gift. Aging texts from inside the Roman tunnels. Seems they got word of my interest. I took them, of course, but the truth is these texts... Who is this? Neuer. Are too fragile, but not that fragile. Too valuable, but not that valuable. To survive life in this horrid place. Good night, Joe. I'm leaving the stream on, so please don't make any sound or loud starting noises, lest I be awoken during my fragile slumber. Oh, okay, but not that fragile. Alright, yeah, sure, put that evil on me. Hey, Jelly. It's Joe Tingles here, ready to send you off to sleep. Wait, hold on. Do they have different quirks? Clotter. Fragile, but not that fragile. Oh, can we get... Is this the place where we can get rid of some shit? Oh. Oh, can we get rid of fucking fragile, but not that fragile? 16. It's worth it, right? It's gotta be worth it. It's gotta be. We gotta get rid of fragile, right?
Even the worst
Alright.
habits can be overcome.
He's here somewhere. A friend of yours? Yep, a little guy that looks a little fragile, but not that fragile, but has strength that surprises you.
Information isn't usually free.
You got a lot of fragile, but not that fragile, objects in the shop. Be a shame if something happened to them.
Discard this fragile body.
But not that fragile.
Something finds me in the long quiet and brings me the gift of a fragile vessel.
But not that fragile vessel. Oh, is it Death Stranding 2? They're just gonna make a sequel? Really? Oh, holy shit, really? That surprises the fuck out of me. Oh, is it a prequel? Do we play as fragile, but not that fragile this time? Unicycle Chan! Oh man. She was that fragile after all.